It's time for Points, Counterpoints, the segment where we make sure that you've got the lineup that you need to match any of the dumb luck that Steve from accounting, hate that guy, gets in your work league matchup. Marcus, if you need 30 points from your quarterback to keep pace with Steve, who we hate, who would you feel confident starting?
Yeah, Steve just sort of backed into Joe Burrow and a huge game out of him. So if you need to sort of battle that, Dak Prescott, I think, is a solid start for you this week. He gets the Atlanta Falcons, who gave up 31, nearly 32 fantasy points last week to Russell Wilson. As much as I love the Seahawks' weapons in the passing game, I think the Cowboys have even more weapons there. I expect this to be a high-scoring matchup, and I think Dak can match or maybe even exceed what we saw from Danger Russ last week.
You know what? I'm going to go with Kyler Murray, Marcus, and I'm going to tell you why. It's his ability to run the ball. I mean, when you can do what he did against the San Francisco 49ers, and last week I said he was a sit because I heard so many great things about this Niners defense, and they played well, but Kyler Murray in this offense, I mean, it seems like he'll be scoring 30 or more every week. So if you drafted him, play him if you need 30. I know Steve, he got lucky, but Kyler's a for sure thing.
All right, Rick, it turns out Steve started Nick Chubb last night, so you need at least 25 points from your RB1 to keep pace. What's the best case scenario and the worst case for Steve?
Well, by the way, Steve auto-picked Nick Chubb, so don't let him get too excited about that. But I love Derrick Henry this week going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. You said just before the break, like, he has run through this team previously back when they were, star-studded. Now, you look at what's happening with that defense. There's a lot of turnover. And you look at the situation in Tennessee. We talked about it at the top of the show, where you have a lot of their receivers injured. A.J. Brown is not playing, in case you're just joining us. So I look at this as a game script where Derrick Henry is going to carry the ball somewhere around 60 times. Or maybe not that many, but you know what I'm talking about.
All right, so if I'm chasing points as well, I'm going to start Zeke for a couple of main reasons. One, the Falcons' defense was miserable against the Seahawks, especially through the air. They made Chris Carson look like Ezekiel Elliott out of the backfield. The second reason is Steve loves the Cowboys, and again, we hate Steve. So this is effective because it puts him in a bad situation. MJD, let's say that you want a receiver that's going to put up 25 or more points. You need it. Who do you feel the most confident in?
Well, before I say that, guys, I have to say this. I must be Steve because I had Nick Chubb go last night. So whoever I'm playing against in our league, they're about to get dominated. But if I have a receiver because Steve had whoever, OBJ, go for 17, and I need a guy, I'm going to go with Mike Evans. I truly believe the Buccaneers are going to bounce back this week. Mike Evans, I mean, he's going to be the guy, a young secondary out there that they've made some mistakes. I think Mike Evans in this Buccaneers offense, they're going to take advantage of that. He should get you over 25 points this week.
Well, I'm going to go with Allen Robinson, and we're in luck because Steve doesn't pick players based on their college, and he's like, Penn State receivers, am I right? And so he passed on Allen Robinson, and now to our benefit, we're going to start him this week against the New York Giants, who allowed 3 passing touchdowns last week to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not sure that the Bears are going to be in a position where they have to throw the ball as much as they did in the fourth quarter last week, but I still believe that they're going to throw the ball to Robinson. And I want to believe, too, that the NFL behaves like Varsity Blues, and Mitch Trubisky wants to get Allen Robinson paid, so he's going to throw him the ball a ton. I know that doesn't happen that way, but that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, the true, teammate making it work there. Marcus, a tight end, Hail Mary. Say 20 or more points to get back at Steve's email practices. Who are you turning to?
Yeah, I just can't stand how this dude replies all on every single email. It is absolutely the worst. So because of that, I'm throwing Jared Cook in my lineup against him this week. I mean, last week, he had nearly half of New Orleans' air yards. Could be similar this week because Michael Thomas likely isn't going to play. Facing the Raiders, yeah, sure, it's a revenge game, but more importantly, the Raiders gave up the 6th most touchdowns to tight ends last season. I think that Jared Cook is going to be a big beneficiary of having no Michael Thomas. He's going to see a lot of targets because of that.
To me, with Kenny Golladay likely out again and the Lions needing some points perhaps with a revitalized Packers offense on the other side, I think Stafford and T.J. Hockenson build on what they had last week. He had 5 catches and a score. Feels like a 7-catch and a touchdown kind of opportunity to just slide past that 20-point wall. That's it for Points Counterpoints. And a reminder, folks, if Steve reminds you of anybody, he is strictly a hypothetical person. So don't get too upset. If he does remind you of yourself, maybe evaluate some things.